Good morning. My name is Eric Blank. This is the Commissioners' Weekly Meeting for February 11th, 2026. Commissioner Plant, any preliminary remarks? Are you prepared to approve the consent agenda?
Good morning. I would
Oh,
approve the
I can't hear
consent.
you. Is
Oh,
that me? Me? All right. Hold on one sec.
I can hear you, Commissioner Plant.
okay. It's not me. I would vote to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. I can now hear you. Commissioner Gilman?
I would also vote to approve the consent agenda.
As would I. Let's move over to public comment. If you want to speak, can you either turn on your camera or raise your hand? Let's just see who, give everybody a minute to join. Why don't we start with Commissioner Macy's from Rock County. Commissioner Macy's.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize. I don't know why my camera will not turn on, but I appreciate the opportunity to provide comments to you today. My name is Sonia Macy's, Rock County Commissioner. I'm also the Vice President of Colorado Communities for Climate Action. CC4CA, Colorado Communities for Climate Action, represents 47 local governments, so that's about 1/3 of Colorado's population across urban, rural, mountain, plains, and western slope communities. We are united in our commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and to ensuring a livable future for future generations. So today, as we all know, Colorado's role in climate leadership is even more critical given the federal hostility towards clean energy. The repeal of federal incentives for wind and solar is already hindering local governments and utilities from deploying reliable, affordable, clean energy where it's most needed. Here in Routt County, uncertainty around the federal investment tax credit, combined with rural electric cooperative that severely limits local renewable generation, has likely killed a renewable project that we've been working on for years with the town of Hayden and the city of Steamboat Springs. And as the legislature considers PUC reauthorization, we're going to ask that this commission be authorized and empowered to take a more active role in oversight of and engagement with rural electric cooperatives. So here in rural communities, we receive equitable consideration of these issues. Communities like Hayden and Craig have long borne the environmental and public health costs of coal generation without the corresponding benefit. And in the recent Hayden Station closure hearing, greater weight appeared to be given to ratepayer impacts for people outside of our region than to impacts to the host community. Meanwhile, federal intervention at Craig Station attempts to keep coal online despite Tri-State's clear objection and their statement that coal is no longer viable in that location. So your leadership is essential in upholding state authority on these issues and advancing our decarbonization goals. I do appreciate the Commission's approval of some renewable projects proposed by Excel this January, but I would have liked to see more approved. Also, extending the life of the 4 natural gas plants by 2 years really does serve to delay the clean energy transition we urgently need. So in closing, I would just say that this year's devastatingly low snowpack and growing wildfire risk reminds us that climate change is harming our communities and economies, and the choice between affordable and clean energy is outdated. Renewables do remain cost effective. So on behalf of the 1.8 million Coloradans represented by Colorado Communities for Climate Action, I urge you to continue to exercise strong leadership to ensure that Colorado meets its statutory climate goals. Thank you very much for your time, and apologies again for the camera.
No worries. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your comments, Commissioner. I saw Bridger Tomlin with the City of Westminster. If you're out there, sorry, turn on your camera. Oh, there you are.
Yeah, hello. Good morning, commissioners. Thank you for taking time to hear public comment this morning. I'm Bridger Tomlin. I'm the Sustainability Administrator for the City of Westminster. Our city is well placed to be a leader in sustainable development powered by renewable and clean energy. Shortly after the Beeline commuter rail extended out to Westminster, our City Council adopted the Westminster Station Area Specific Plan that promoted dense, transit-oriented housing near the station. We worked on this plan with Excel, informing them that we would need additional energy capacity to serve the needs of our new development, especially if they're going to be all electric housing aligned with Colorado's statewide climate goals. 6 years after the adoption of the Westminster Station Plan, we stood on the precipice of success with the all-electric project ready to be built. But Xcel said that there would not be enough electricity to power the development area. They needed to build a new transmission line, and they would not be able to complete the new infrastructure until October of 2025. As of that date last year, Xcel has not begun construction of the needed transmission line. Now they have moved that goalpost to the end of 2026. Even then, it's not clear if the project will deliver the needed energy and supply we need for this all-electric development and to electrify the entire Westminster Station area, since most of its capacity has already been committed to other customers. This series of events shows that local governments can set goals and make plans, fully set up a project for implementation, but if Xcel does not prioritize construction of the infrastructure that we need to complete these projects, our aspirations for fully electrified housing and buildings will fall short. The costs to our community are significant, both in terms of the money spent developing this project in the Westminster Station area and the years wasted without sustainable housing at a key transit center. This commission has a legal responsibility to ensure that Xcel's planning aligns with statewide climate goals. And that means ensuring Xcel is working collaboratively with local government sustainability projects. We know that Xcel is capable of rapid response to community needs. Their dispatchable distributed generation program is a great example of this. Westminster appreciates the urgency with which Xcel and the state are approaching that program implementation. And we look forward to try to partner with Xcel and developers in bringing that to Westminster. We need to see that kind of urgency and awareness of the state's climate goals displayed across all of Xcel's programs and plans. This commission can uphold that awareness by requiring all energy planning to explicitly align with greenhouse gas reduction requirements. Thank you so much.
Hey, can I just ask you one question, and maybe I spaced it, but did you say how big the development was in either megawatts or number of units?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but I think the units was around 300 for that one development, but the whole station area would have a variety of multi-use developments, including housing and retail.
Well, if you might just submit comments or something to our team. I'm personally curious about what's going on. So thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you, commissioners.
Ms. Klostrom.
Thank
There
you,
you go.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I appreciate this opportunity. And for the record, my name is Leslie Glustrom. I've been an intervener and a participant at the Commission for over 20 years and continue to follow your work. And I'm deeply grateful as you navigate the tremendous complexity before you. So, we didn't used to have 3 really smart and engaged commissioners, and we do now. And I sing your praises regularly. So thank you. With that complexity, I thought, I shouldn't talk. But, the truth is, when we're working this hard and spending this much money and the system is still failing us, as you know, only too well, it really is time to start thinking about a new paradigm, about a new way to structure our electrical system. And I get that this can't happen easily, but we've got to start, because every month and every $100 million or $200 million or $300 million that we spend supporting the 20th century system is time and money we're not using to build a system that will work well for our children and our grandchildren. The weird weather we're seeing in 2026 is just the beginning. 2036 is going to be so much worse than 46, and by then I'll be long gone 56. But as you know, a lot of your resources are supposed to go out 40 or more years. So, and I think the key here is to think about what I just referred to as poles and wires are bad news. You've seen a lot of bad news in Colorado. Our country has seen a lot of bad news. It's only a matter of time before the jet stream and the polar vortex decide to, drown us in an ice and sleet storm that just takes down wires like crazy, the way they've seen in the southeast over the last several weeks. So I get that it won't be easy, but I would ask that you start to use sometime. I live in Boulder, which is both, it's a bit of an epicenter. There are quite a few, but it's a community where both a lot of money is being spent and a lot of outages are happening. And I would ask that if you're ever in Boulder, but you can do this in your own communities, just go around and look at all those poles and wires and envision what happens when you have 60 and 80 and 100-mile-an-hour winds. Go into Left Hand Canyon outside of Boulder, where XL and their contractors have been week after week after week, replacing poles, cutting trees, trimming trees, and look up and go, oh, it's useless. I mean, when the wind is blowing 60 and 80 and 100 miles an hour, those trees that weren't cut are going to topple over and do the same thing they did back in December. So I would ask that, I get that this is really hard, but somebody's got to start. Y'all are smart. We've got to start envisioning a system that first reduces, then minimizes, then maybe ultimately eliminates our reliance on poles and wires. And that's just really reverse from our model from the last century, which is you put generation a long ways away and assume that once you have the generation, the transmission and distribution system will deliver it. And it's absolutely clear that that paradigm isn't working now and won't work in the future. We can do it. We can do solar and storage close to load. We can do microgrids. The technologies are there, the computers and the algorithms. It's all there, but we have to have the courage. And I remind you that under 43-102, you have the authority to do all things necessary, whether necessary or convenient. They don't even have to be necessary. They just have to be convenient. So you're already working really hard. I would ask that you spend, maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes a week thinking about and trying to envision a system that moves us away from poles and wires. So appreciate your time as always, and thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you. I think that concludes the sign-up list. Is there any one else who'd like to make some public comments? Going once, going twice. Let's go to proceeding number 25A-0386R. Mr. Farrell, City and County of Denver, modifying pathways under bridges.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Again, Alan Farrell with Rail and Transit Safety Section, and I can now proceed if you're ready.
Please.
Yes. On September 23rd of 2025, Denver filed an application requesting authority to modify an existing bicycle and pedestrian path under the BNSF Jersey Cutoff Bridge in the City and County of Denver. By decision number C-25-0841, issued November 25th, 2025, the Commission deemed the application complete and granted the application. In the decision, the Commission ordered the City to notify the Commission in writing when the work is complete. The Commission stated that it expected this letter on or about January 1st, 2026. On January 20th of 2026, Denver filed a motion for extension of time to submit the notice of completion until August 31st, 2026. Denver's motion states that due to matters beyond its control, Denver has yet to start the work the Commission approved in decision number C-25-0841. Denver now anticipates starting the work in the second quarter of 2026 and completing the work at the crossing on or about August 31st of 2026. BNSF has not made any filing opposing the motion, and the motion will not create any safety issues as the crossing is grade separated. And unless you have questions, I have a recommendation.
Yeah, if you could give us your recommendation, that'd be great.
Thank you. Staff recommends the Commission grant the motion and require that Denver comply with the requirements of decision number C-25-0841 by August 31st of 2026.
Commissioner Plant,
I agree.
Commissioner Gellman.
I also agree.
As do I, and that can be an ABC decision granting the motion and setting the compliance date. So thank you, sir. Proceeding number 21A-0141E. Mr. Eden, Ms. McLaughlin.
Thank you, Commissioners. Erin McLaughlin, Commission Counsel. Commissioners, as you know, this matter involves an expedited process requested in the Commission's 2021 Public Service Electric Resource Plan, or the Clean Energy Plan proceeding, referred to as the Near-Term Procurement, or NTP. The NTP was initiated in late August, with the Commission approving a process to move forward on an expedited basis on September 8th of 2025. The expedited process included a status conference, technical conference, reporting, and comments, such that the Commission could reach a decision by February 9th, 2026, the decision date requested by parties, including the company and state agencies. To timely address the possible resource acquisitions and enable quick analysis of competitively sourced projects to select and capture savings expected from an expiring tax credits and benefits. Following the technical conference and reporting and other filings, the Commission deliberated on January 28th, 2026, and reached a final decision. Prior to the decision issuing, staff, UCA, CEO, and Interwest filed a motion. The motion was based on deliberation discussions and included that the Commission conceptually approved a portfolio of approximately 3,400 megawatts of nameplate capacity. This was similar to the recommendation from the state agencies. The filing also includes that while much of the approval was unconditional, the Commission expressed in deliberations its need for more information regarding in the coming weeks regarding bid 127 and certain solar, storage, and solar plus storage bids outside of the Denver Metro constraint. Joint filers take issue with the deliberation discussions on these conditions, reiterating arguments made in their comments, and responses were filed to the motion on February 3rd, which generally were in support of the request to revise the Commission's not yet issued order, but with some additional arguments and suggestions as well. The final order, based on your deliberations, issued on Thursday, February 5th, 2026. Late on Monday, February 9th, CEO, staff, and UCA, this time without Interwest, filed a joint RRR. The RRR generally reiterates the arguments raised in the motion and again seeks an expedited decision on the Commission's decision points that added conditions seeking more information on certain projects. Given these filings, we do have a procedural recommendation today to keep this matter moving quickly. First, we would recommend denying the premature motion and then request that the parties seeking expedited consideration of the RRR make their filings this week so that the Commission can address the matter substantively on February 18th. Regarding the motion, consistent with 40-6-114, the Commission speaks through its final written decisions and requests for reconsideration of a Commission final decision can be provided through rehearing, re-argument, or reconsideration. The motion here was filed after deliberations, but before a final order would be an extraordinary departure from rules and statutes and interrupts the deliberations process. Joint filers provide no rule or request for waiver despite this extraordinary departure. In fact, the arguments mirror claims already raised in filings below that were considered in the Commission's discussion, analysis of which was captured in your written decision issued last week on February 5th, timely and before the requested February 9th deadline. The Commission is aware of the expedited nature of the NTP process being considered here, and the filing provides no justification to depart further from the already expedited nature of the decisions being made. And a quickly filed RRR is a more appropriate path to seek reconsideration. Particularly where the final decisions issued in this matter on Thursday, February 5th, 4 days before the requested decision date from parties, we recommend denying this motion as inappropriate and untimely and encouraging parties to file appropriate RRR. Under statute, parties can file as soon as they would like and their request for RRR. And while no RRR is ruled on, while RRR is ruled on within the 30 days following the ruling, parties can of course include an appropriate argument seeking expedited treatment. To that end, the Commission does now have the recently filed RRR from CEO, staff, and UCA that seeks expedited review. Given the responses filed to the motion and the previous inclusions from Interwest, we expect that other parties may also seek RRR on this same point raised in the RRR filed Monday. We therefore recommend your order today encourage parties that have RRR requests regarding the conditional approvals to file those this week so that the commission can take this up quickly, including as soon as next week. I'll open for your discussion on vote on that procedural path forward. And if the commissioners agree with these steps, we can issue an ABC decision quickly after this meeting.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just, well, first I support your recommendation. I also want to share some comments that I'm not asking be included in the order, but would like to stay too early to see if we can maybe get some helpful triple R. So for me, I picture a business unit at Excel taking a significant investment proposal up to the CEO for approval. I assume that proposal would have a detailed financial analysis of the costs and benefits. There'd be a business case laying out the pros and cons, explaining why the benefits are likely to exceed the costs, and there'd be an evaluation of different scenarios showing that the business case recommendation was robust under a diverse range of circumstances. In the NTP, the company has not materially quantified and presented the benefits to us, despite multiple requests from this commission to do so. What we mainly have is a rank ordering of projects by cost without a meaningful qualitative business case presentation and evaluation of alternative scenarios, particularly as regards to trade-off between locations within and outside the Denver metro area. At the same time, these are multi-billion-dollar investments. In our JTS order, we asked for Encompass runs to be submitted by the end of last year. We also asked for a series of transmission runs to better understand the benefits of siting new load outside of the Denver metro area and new generation within the Denver area. Despite these requests, which at the time of the September approval of the NTP process we expected to have prior to our decision, the company has not provided that. More fundamentally, on page 29 of the NTP report, the company finds that the NTP portfolio of remote wind, solar, and storage projects will create roughly 820 megawatts of firm accredited capacity that presumably we will rely on to retire the coal plants. The 820 megawatts is calculated by subtracting the capacity value of the two Tier 1 NTP projects located in the Denver metro area from the total accredited capacity. As I understand it, the firm accredited capacity calculations associated with these remote resources are based on relatively conservative ELCC approaches. But these ELCC calculations do not meaningfully account for potential transmission constraints, which appear to be not fully understood right now by the company, as they vary hour by hour and depend on the location of future load and generation, which seems to be currently uncertain. Given this reality, I remain concerned that this 820 megawatts of firm capacity may not be capable of getting through the transmission constraints in the Denver metro area in ways that will ensure we can timely retire the coal, especially since we're unlikely to build new transmission by 2031. Said another way, I'm concerned that the highest loss of load probability will be when the large substations into the Denver area are constrained. The state agencies proposed almost 1,000 megawatts of storage, at least in their primary recommendation, all of it outside the Denver metro area, while the company is projecting hundreds or thousands of megawatts of new load inside Denver. As such, I'm concerned that the additional remote resources outside Denver may prove insufficient capacity value to ensure we can reliably retire the coal plants. For me, my rough sense is that we should be putting as much additional dispatchable generation in the Denver metro area whenever we can, depending on how much more it costs. So I think the strongest likelihood of timely retiring the coal plants may be to move forward now with bid 94, a 450 megawatt company-owned solar plus storage contract located within the Denver metro area, instead of putting more resources outside Denver. But I'm struggling to make this multi-billion-dollar decision based on my gut, or as my kids would say, on vibes, without any data-driven business case presentation of the benefits of cost locating in Denver. You know, in our order from a few days ago, we laid out a process to resolve these uncertainties within a few weeks. We were explicit that we were not seeking any additional encompass or transmission modeling run for the 6 impacted projects. Instead, we're looking for the basis business case analysis like any utility would provide to its executives, presenting the pros and cons of the alternatives, consistent with normal practice, business practice, and decision making. So since the order is out, I agree with advisors and counsel that let's see what the parties beyond the state agency say when they've read this decision. So at least for now, I'd stick with our prior decision and see what the companies and other parties say. Hopefully we receive some substantive guidance. And believe me, I get the timing pressure and the concerns. So, but I think it's worth waiting and seeing if we can get any help in making these decisions. So, Commissioner Plant, anywhere you'd like to go, but you do at least need to vote on the procedural recommendation from council.
Yeah, I agree with the procedural recommendation. And it would be nice to see further information from the company around, particularly around the solar and storage project in the Denver metro area and how they evaluate the relative advantages and disadvantages of that project. Regardless of how we go forward, I think it would be good to hear their analysis of that. You know, even prior to the JTS, you know, RFP that's going to be coming up. So I'd like to know how they're thinking about that. But I approve the recommendation.
Commissioner Gellman, anywhere you'd like to go?
Thanks, Mr. McLaughlin. Yeah, I agree with the recommendations. I think that lays out a reasonable pathway for us to hear from folks in an expedited way, but to continue down the path that we're in. You know, as I stated in our prior deliberations on this, is a really epically difficult planning environment. We've got very uncertain load growth numbers and really rapidly escalating price environment to be making these investment decisions, which clearly puts a lot of pressure on these decisions and on figuring out if we get it right. But you know, I agree with you, Chairman. This isn't necessarily only a question of how much do we invest on the generation side, but on where and how we optimize around the whole suite of costs that comes with adding new generation and serving new load. And that's just something that we need additional information on. There are very significant risks of overspending on both sides of this equation. And I think that's really what we're trying to optimize around. So I would just express that certainly time is of the essence for the company to complete the additional analysis that we've requested, especially with regards to the placement of solar and storage bids. Certainly as soon as that can be conducted, I think our reasonable expectation is that this is information analysis that can be done right now off the shelf and does not require a lot of specialized kind of extended modeling, as you indicated, Chairman. So it's certainly my hope that that's done in an expedited way. You know, we have no interest, I don't think, in delaying this decision, but it's having the right information to make the decision. So certainly, you know, the sooner the company can do that, the better, to ensure that we've got the basic information needed to make these significant decisions.
Does that give you what you need for an ABC decision, Ms. McLaughlin?
Yes, and I think what I heard today was a 3-0 vote on the process. So we'll focus on that in the decision. And then the comments today were for the benefit of those parties that might be considering expedited RRR, but not for inclusion in the decision, if that's right.
Yeah, help.
Thank you.
Proceeding number 25A, 0194E, 2627 Renewable Energy Compliance Plan. Mr. Asara, Ms. Hardick.
Well, Mr. Chair, do you want to introduce your proposal on this?
Yeah, I guess I just like this is before us in an recommended decision, and it's a lot of money, and I just like to look at it before it becomes final. So I don't know if there's going to be exceptions. I haven't really had a chance to dig through the record. All I saw is that it's a lot of money. So I'd like to look at it. I'm not sure we need to do anything or should do anything, but this is our only opportunity to stay the decision before it comes final. So I'd like to stay it if you're okay with that, and just take a look. Give us an opportunity to at least read the decision and see what happened. So, Commissioner Plant, are you okay? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine to sort of delay until we have an opportunity to look it over. What's the timing issue on this? Is there a timing issue on this?
Mr.
Well,
Sarah?
You know, not really right now. Exceptions are due on the 17th, and staying it won't change that deadline. So we'll stay it, and if there are any exceptions, they'll roll in, and that'll give the chair and advisors time to take sort of a deeper look at it and talk
But
about it.
but if we don't stay it today, it goes it becomes a final order on the 17th before our next meeting. Isn't that right?
Yes, if there are no exceptions that are filed.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Give us another week to look at it.
Commissioner Gilman, any concerns?
No, I think that works.
Thank you, Mr. Sarah. I think that concludes our abbreviated NARUC agenda. Any final thoughts, Commissioner Plant?
Nope, nothing else. Thanks.
Safe travels. Commissioner Gilman, final thoughts?
Nothing additional, thanks.
Thanks. With that, we're adjourned.